G'day. Um, Last day here in Denia, and then me and Mara trucking it to Palencia for Christmas with her mum and dad and her aunties and all our friends up there. It's like a tradition now here in Spain to go to Palencia for Christmas time. One of my favourite cities in Spain is Palencia. When Asteroid B612 were on tour in September, we spent a couple of days there, and the Bullet and Benny joined us, and we had a good night there at a late night disco club. Club 38, I think it's called. Anyway, Mayra will correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a good night. Dancing and laughing and loving. It was good. So, when I was in France earlier this year, doing a week's worth of shows with Dimmy and Vince, I thought these old brown boots that I bought in the late 90s or the early 2000s, I think the late 90s, it was their last sort of go at it, so to speak. They'd kind of pretty fucked and fallen apart. I bought them. I thought it was their last go at it. I thought when I got home from France, I thought, okay, my favourite brown boots are now bound for the trash bin. But they actually made it through by the time it came to do the Asteroid B612 tour. I looked around at some shoes and they were still there. I hadn't thrown them out yet, and I was like, fuck, maybe there's one more crack at it with them. When you're a big guy like me, shoes are important for comfort, but they're also important because they're the one things that they're the one kind of thing that you can regularly buy that's stylish, that fits no matter where. You know what I mean? Well, I know what I mean, and big guys know what I mean. But shoes are one of those things. I bought those shoes from Rocco. Well, Rocco made those shoes for me. Like I said, either in the late 90s or the early 2000s. But I didn't really wear, when I first got them, I got them and I loved them, and I didn't sort of wear them for ages. But they look great. They've got a lot of character and they look great, but they're pretty much done now. I think they're bound for the scrap heap. But I first bought a pair of Roccos in 95 when Asteroid B612 signed a record deal with Orgogo. I was there having a meeting with Bruce Milne and Greta Moon, and at the end of the meeting, if anyone who knows Greta would know that she's probably many things, but she's very stylish, sort of a woman. And I asked her, I said, I've heard about some place, because I thought she would know. If anyone would know, she would know. I've heard about this old Italian guy who makes leather shoes. And before I could get the name Rocco out, she said, yeah, Rocco's at East Melbourne. And I was like, she knew, and she told me where to go. And I think I was, at one time, I think I was staying with my buddies Mick and Richie, and they had no idea because their footwear at the time didn't go past a pair of Converse All-Stars or something like that. So, you know, I'm not putting shit on them, but they both know I love them. But I was after a little bit more. Shoes that I, like used to see, Cyril Jordan wearing from the Flamin' Groovies. At some point, or rather, I took a photo of those boots and asked Rocco to make me a pair like them. He made them in black and white with hand sewn on leather stars and stuff like that. It was interesting. Every time I went to Melbourne around those times, I would get out of the van or get off the plane or whatever it was and make a plan to go straight to Rocco's. I think at one point I had like maybe 12 different pairs of Rocco shoes in white, blue, brown, black, stars, red, you know what I mean, all sorts of things. I think I still have like a bunch of pairs that I don't necessarily wear anymore. And I've got a couple of pairs when Howard or Cosmo passed away. His wife Debbie kept a couple of pairs of his Rocco. I introduced Rocco's shoes for me, and my brother Billy ended up sending them to me. So I got a couple of his Howard's Roccos as well. But I introduced Howard to Rocco, and he went crazy. He must have bought, I think at one point he had 27 different pairs of Rocco shoes. Like it was like a fucking problem. Like I remember his wife at the time, Debbie, saying to me, like, what is it with all these fucking leather? He goes to Australia, comes home with 6 different pairs of leather shoes, all made by this guy. Anyway, it was a fun time. I've taken lots of people there. I think I took the helicopters there on their first tour of Australia to check out Rocco's shoes. I'm not sure if those guys bought any or not. I think they did, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it's kind of like an institution, I guess, for Melbourne people. At least it's an institution. But I kind of was lucky enough to know about it early on and caught the bug early on for me in the middle of the 90s, and had a bunch of great shoes made by Rocco, and heard a bunch of great stories that Rocco told about making shoes and his life, you know, from Italy to Australia. And it's still there now, Rocco's. I think it's in the same location, but then I haven't been back to Australia in close to 8 years. So, but the first Johnny Casino and the Secrets record was called New Clothes, Old Shoes, meaning like this was a new thing for me, the clothes, but I was still wearing the same old shoes, so to speak, you know, metaphors or whatever you want to call it. But the first one was this one here, see, New Clothes, Old Shoes. I don't know if you can see that without the glare there, but there. But the actual song, which was written around the time of recording that first Secrets record, the song title New Clothes, Old Shoes didn't actually get recorded until time of the second record. And it appeared on the second record there, I Am Who I Am. Like, it's really hard to see here with this glare and plasticky CD covers, but anyway, it's on the second record. But yeah, the song was written and the title was most definitely going to be for the first album, and for some reason or another there was a bunch of songs recorded for the first record and it sort of didn't make its way into that group of songs that were ready yet, but it was certainly written by that time. Maybe the lyrics got changed a little bit by the time the second record was recorded or something like that, but the actual bones of the song and that was there. And then I think on a trip to Perth with Warren Hall and Kenny Watt and Brad Miller, we were in the studio. Trying to remember the name of the studio now. Kingdom Studios. Great old studio with really nice old tape machines in an old Masonic hall. Beautiful, beautiful space. Great place to like just set up and just sit around looking at each other and record music. But it was one of the songs that I recorded there with Warren and Kenny and Brad. Bring it back to Sydney and mixed it with Mike Burnham at the Tata Studios. But yeah. I think I had some other things that I wanted to say in relation to that, but they seem to be sidestepping me today. But I'm here, and I'll show you kind of what that song went like, written again on this guitar, on this acoustic guitar, this old Gibson guitar. big bombastic drums by Warren, like a real sort of hypnotic bass line by Brad, and some like wonderful searing guitar playing by Kenny. Really is a great guitar player, Kenny. And someone I love very dearly, Kenny. Good guy. Yeah, so these old boots, as much as I love them, bound for the scrap heap, I think. Don't you fucking hate wearing in new, well, at least I do, having to wear in new leather shoes? Takes like a good 2 or 3 months to get them just where you want them. These ones are just where I want them, but they're done. They're falling apart. There's no insides left in them. There's nothing left in them. Had them resold a bunch of times, but there's nothing left for them. New clothes, old shoes. I guess that's it. I don't necessarily celebrate Christmas, but if you do, enjoy yourself, have a good time. Hope you spend time with your loved ones and have a good time. I'm looking on the timer, 15 minutes. That's pretty fair. I guess it's too long for a lot of people and not long enough for maybe a very short amount of people, or a very little amount of people, not short. Yep. Love yous. Take care. And I hope to see you soon. Adios.